I've recently purchased a Panasonic UB450 4K Blu-ray player, and in this video I'm going to be comparing it to the Xbox Series X when it comes to playing 4K Blu-rays. I know a lot of people have a similar question: is it worth the upgrade to get a dedicated 4K Blu-ray player over my console? Well, hopefully this video is going to be helpful to you. I've tried my best to do comparisons for a number of different movies, including HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Obviously taking into account that what you're seeing is through a camera and not the eye, but I do summarise my findings at the end of this video.
So I'm going to start with the Xbox, and we are going to take Interstellar for a spin. Those of you who haven't used an Xbox before, the level of noise you get when you put a disc in is one of the reasons I've upgraded. So I'm going to pop this disc in and you will see what I mean straight away. I'm not sure how audible that is, but that is the noise you get pretty much consistently when playing a 4K Blu-ray on the Xbox. So obviously with the Xbox you were using the Xbox controller for your navigation, which again has never been that ideal. I don't know if you can hear in the background as well, you can still hear the hum even though I'm now sat in my sort of viewing position for movies. But we're going to check out a couple of frames from Interstellar using the Xbox first, and then I'm going to flip over to the 4K Blu-ray player and see if we notice any difference. Obviously this movie is HDR10 and not Dolby Vision, but we will compare Dolby Vision in just a moment.
So this is going to be our first comparison scene from Interstellar. So this is on the Xbox Series X. And then we're going to flick straight over to the Panasonic. We're going to try and get exactly the same frame so we can do like an A to B comparison. Obviously in an ideal world we'd have two TVs, but that is not what we have to compare them here. So we're just going to flick between the two. I haven't tried this yet, so I will give my honest opinion on the first time seeing it. Obviously I won't be able to go straight from A to B like we can on the video, but let's have a look at, this is Xbox. And this is the Panasonic. Straight away, I don't know how easy it is to see on the camera. It's definitely a little bit clearer. Is it tenfold better? No, but it does look clearer to my eye, particularly on the TV. Obviously the camera settings I've tried to lock in place, and looking at the camera here, I think it is crushing the blacks a little bit through the camera. It doesn't look like that on my screen. So for my next comparison I am going to bump the brightness up a little bit on the camera. But yes, there is a noticeable difference. It is only slight here. The big difference that I noticed just switching between the two is how quick and easy it is to navigate and skip through chapters and fast forward, pause and everything. It is on the Panasonic compared to the Xbox. That's a big plus straight away. Also the noise is obviously extremely now quiet, and I can just enjoy the movie. So now I'm just going to flick over to a Dolby Vision disc. So we're going to compare Terminator now, a scene from Terminator. Now obviously the Xbox does not support Dolby Vision video, so we're going to compare the HDR10 of the Xbox to the Dolby Vision of the Panasonic. Straight away, I'm just trying to load up the Terminator disc on my Xbox, and the Blu-ray app has frozen. This is not common, but it has happened a few times. Typically it happens when I'm recording this video, so a negative point to the Xbox straight away when I get this set up. Okay, now flipped over to Terminator. This is on the Xbox. Again, you can probably hear it whirring away in the background. Obviously this is HDR10. I have, let me just check that I have, I'm going to switch my TV over to make sure we are in filmmaker mode for both these settings, because I think this one, yeah, this is already in filmmaker mode, so I'll make sure I'm in filmmaker mode when we go to Dolby Vision as well. So again, this transfer looks really good. Colours look good for the age of the film. It's fantastic. Grain is really nice. Obviously, again, like I mentioned before, through the camera the colours might not look as accurate. I tried to lock everything into place and set the white balance correctly. So this is the Xbox, and we are just going to flip over to the Panasonic and see if we notice any difference, because obviously the Panasonic has Dolby Vision, which this TV the LG C4 also has. Let's see if we notice any improvements. And here is the Panasonic. Once again, just the ease of use and how quick it took me to get to here as opposed to the Xbox. So much better on the Panasonic. Just going to play a couple of seconds here. The picture on this is fantastic. Really sharp, really accurate Annoyingly, obviously, I can't compare A to B as quick as we can on the camera at the moment, flitching between the two, because obviously I've had to stop, set it all up. So it's hard for me to actually comment on how great it looks. I'm going to do a little summary at the end of this where I can compare the two frames from the video. But straight away, huge plus to the palette just on how quick, how quiet it was to get it set up. And again, this picture looks lovely. It does, I think it does look a little, I don't think it's a placebo effect. I think it does look better than the Xbox, just color-wise and sharpness. Just that ever so slightly, there's just something that this looks how I always picture 4K discs should look, whereas the Xbox has always looked very good, but just with those other things, the noise and the navigation, the clunkiness of it, it's kind of taken away from it. We will compare one more. I'm going to compare Halloween from Scream Factory, just because, again, that's an older transfer that I think looks really, really good on the Xbox, colour-wise and stuff. So we will compare those, and then we'll have a little summary at the end. Now, for this, we are looking at Halloween. I've deliberately chosen a dark scene here. We're going to choose a dark scene and a brighter scene from this disc and compare them. Again, on my camera, it does look a little bit darker than it does in picture, so I am just going to slightly adjust while I'm recording, just to bring a little bit more of the brightness out, and I'll make sure that these are compared when I switch across as well. Just we've got a bit more there. So, okay, that looks a bit more accurate to what I'm seeing on the screen. So this is a dark scene from Halloween. We will flick over to the Panasonic and compare this as well as a brighter scene and see if we can notice any difference. Again, this is a Dolby Vision disc, so we are currently playing at HDR10 on the Xbox, and obviously we'll get Dolby Vision on the Panasonic. And here is the darker scene on the Panasonic. And here is a brighter scene on the Xbox. And here is that same frame on the Panasonic. Then just there's been a gap between me seeing both scenes, so I'm not doing them side by side A to B, but just the skin tones do look better, and it does look that slightly bit sharper. And I think that's been a common theme with these comparisons that I've been doing. So, to summarise, the Panasonic UB450 compared to an Xbox Series X when playing 4K Blu-rays. Do I think it's an upgrade? 100% I do. Do I think it's night and day difference? I probably wouldn't go as far as to say that. But a few things, obviously, that I want to just talk about quickly. First of all, I've got this Panasonic from Amazon. I got it on Amazon's warehouse. It was a like new condition. The box was mashed up, but the player was in perfect condition. So I think it was about £150 here in the UK, and I think it retails brand new for about 180 in the UK. So just take that in mind as I'm talking about this, because I did get it a little bit cheaper. Obviously, while I was doing the comparisons, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, it was quite hard for me to do A to B, because I have to obviously take the discount, load it up on the next disc, get to the next scene. But obviously I haven't looked through on the video. The key things to me was, sharpness. It was ever so sharper. I think I can notice that on the video, but it was better, clearer in the eye. And I found skin tones looked more natural and warm, particularly on the Halloween scene where Laurie Strode's looking out the window. When I was looking at both of them straight away, it looked more natural with the Dolby Vision, and I think that is down to the Dolby Vision, which the Xbox doesn't have. The big, if you want to use the term night and day difference, in the main upgrade that I found was the fact how easy and quick the Panasonic is to use. Just you can get to a chapter very, very quickly. With the Xbox, it's clunky. It just doesn't work that well. It does the job, but now I've used the Panasonic, I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it should work. This is much easier. Also, the noise I mentioned a few times. The Xbox is so noisy when it comes to playing Blu-rays, to the point where sometimes in quiet scenes, it is just humming away, and that can be distracting. And I've never sort of got used to it, and I've been using the Xbox to play Blu-rays for years. So overall, do I think it's worth the upgrade? Yes, I do. I think if you've got an Xbox and you are really into 4K Blu-rays, and you can pick this up, as I say, I picked it up for £150, so do keep an eye on Amazon's warehouse. I'm happy with the purchase. I think the main thing that I'm happy with is the ease of use, the lack of noise, and it's just how it should work. It does look better. There is no arguing with that. It, to me, doesn't look night and day difference. Like I know some people use that term quite often when describing the step up. Maybe I need to watch a few more or have 2 TVs set up to really see it, but no one does that. If I think it would be hard if you hid the Xbox and you made it quiet and hid the Blu-ray player and you told me to look at the 2. I think I'd be able to pick this one out as being the better quality, but I wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, that one is fantastic, that one's terrible. The Xbox does the job quite well. But it is, to me, worth the upgrade. Now, I know a lot of people talk about the Panasonic UB450, and that one's about £300 here in the UK. Now, I know that that has a few things, mainly due to sort of upscaling older Blu-rays and DVDs, which I didn't test because I don't often watch older Blu-rays. And I believe it's also got some HDR optimizer settings, but my LG C4 has some dynamic tone mapping that does a lot of that for me. If this was £300 and it was exactly the same, I would struggle a bit more to say that it was, worth the upgrade. Because this is half the price of that, I think it is definitely worth going for. But if you've got a Panasonic 820 and you've used the Panasonic UB450 on a new TV, one of the newer LG OLEDs or something, and you notice a difference between the 2 players, please do leave a comment so I can potentially maybe look at the 820. But for now, I'm really happy with this one. I'm glad I won't be using the Xbox again to play my 4K Blu-rays, and I highly recommend it if you can get it for around 150. It is 107. I think it's 179.99, which isn't a bad price. But as I say, it is available a little bit cheaper if you keep an eye on Amazon Warehouse and maybe some other sale places. But as always, thank you for watching. If this video has been useful to you, please do like and subscribe. I've got plenty more videos coming up with some physical media, as well as a few sort of LG TV settings that I know some people have found useful. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you soon.